You don't seem very fiery to me. You seem like you might just...
I get crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to set me off.
Yeah.
Were you ever worried that that Nick could shine poorly on your career or something like that?
No. That never crossed my mind. I mean, you know, he's my son. I love him. It doesn't matter. That he's more important than anything that could happen to me.
Charlie, why don't you tell us what you want to thank God for? 6 months of sobriety? Nothing you want to say?
Do I smell like weed? No. I think I smell like weed.
Is most of the movie parallel to your life, or almost all of it?
No, we took from our lives, but it's a fiction. I mean, Nick can tell you because he went through all of this, and I think you took from a lot of different people, didn't you?
Yeah, from my own experiences and from also seeing other people going through it, and also the varying establishments that I was in, you really get a sense for that whole.
Behind the locked doors of a Los Angeles jail, Nick Reiner's life has narrowed to a small cell, a strict routine, and a mind that may not fully grasp how he got there. Once the son of one of Hollywood's most powerful filmmakers, Nick is now known almost entirely through mugshots, court filings, and disturbing questions that refuse to go away. Is he aware that he is in prison? Does he understand what he's accused of? Is he being treated or simply contained? And what does survival even mean for someone battling severe mental illness behind bars? As the legal case crawls forward, the reality of Nick Reiner's daily existence remains largely hidden, fueling a grim curiosity about what really happens to him after the cameras leave and the cell door closes. As of early 2026, Nick remains in custody at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in Los Angeles, where he's being held without bail as the criminal case moves forward. When he was first booked, he was placed on suicide watch, a standard protocol for inmates deemed at risk of self-harm, and was required to wear a blue suicide prevention smock during the first weeks of his confinement. A sheriff's department source later told People that he was taken off suicide watch after being evaluated, but is still housed in high observation housing, a jail unit specifically for inmates with acute mental health needs, where he remains in solitary confinement unless a judge orders a change. Because of the serious nature of the charges and Nick's mental health history, medical professionals and jail staff have been closely monitoring his condition. Multiple reports indicate that doctors and mental health staff determined early on that Nick has a mental disability and needs careful supervision. In practice, this has meant that he is kept isolated from other general population inmates, with his movements tightly controlled and contact limited to legal counsel and medical personnel. His food is delivered to his cell, he is observed by staff, and he is not permitted to interact freely with other inmates, a setup intended to protect both him and others, given the combination of legal risk and psychiatric concerns.
You're gonna have to bail me out of jail. She has a boyfriend now who's in the military. He's actually dead. She's died in Iraq. I'm gonna go kill that.
Pages, they had thrown everything in that they had gone through.
Manifesto.
Yeah, and as we shaped it and changed it, the whole process brought us closer together because we started understanding each other a little bit.
Listen to you tell me what a drug addict I am.
Tough, damn.
Careful, I'm one of your constituents now. You wouldn't want to lose the governor's race by 1 vote.
You can either head back to treatment or live on the streets. It's your choice.
I can't tell exactly what got me into them besides the fact that I thought they were really cool and I just wanted to do them. But I think I heard this question a lot, and I think the only answer I can give for wanting to tell a story like this is that it's even more powerful to tell it about someone who is going through this and they're given everything and they're in an opulent situation and they're still deciding to go to the drugs. And that's more powerful than some, in our opinion, that's the only story that we know. We don't know any other story besides that.
And I think, it cuts across socioeconomic boundaries. I mean, if you look what's going on now with the heroin epidemic around the country, it's invading white middle class suburban neighborhoods. So it doesn't really it crosses all economic boundaries, and difficulties that you have are not relegated to only people who are
Mental health background and medication. Nick's mental health history is a key part of understanding his current situation. Prior to the murders, Nick had endured years of personal struggle with substance abuse and psychiatric illness. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, a serious mental health condition that involves symptoms of schizophrenia, such as hallucinations or delusions, combined with mood disorder components. Reports indicate that he received this diagnosis years before the murders and had been under psychiatric care, including at times being prescribed antipsychotic medication to manage his symptoms. In 2020, he was reportedly placed under a mental health conservatorship, a legal arrangement used in California when someone's mental illness is so severe that they are unable to provide for their own personal needs, including medical care. That conservatorship lasted about a year before it ended, with family and professionals hoping he had stabilized. However, in the months leading up to his parents' deaths, investigators and media reports allege that his medication regimen was changed due to unwanted side effects, particularly rapid weight gain, a known issue with some antipsychotic drugs. After this adjustment, multiple sources claim Nick became increasingly unstable, erratic, and disconnected from reality. The documentary TMZ Investigates, The Reiner Murders: What Really Happened, now streaming on Hulu and discussed in news coverage, explores this part of the story in depth. In it, the producers claim that while Nick may have been aware of his actions at the time of the killings, he does not understand why he is in jail. According to the documentary, sources connected to the family assert that Nick knows that he killed his parents, but he doesn't understand why he is in jail, and that he believes he is the victim of a conspiracy. This kind of thinking, a delusional belief that events are part of a plot rather than legal consequences, is consistent with severe psychosis and reflects an ongoing struggle with grasping his situation. The documentary also states that his medication is still not right, and doctors within the jail are continuing to try to stabilize him. This suggests Nick is still taking psychiatric medication and undergoing ongoing medical evaluation, though details about the specific drugs or dosages he's receiving have not been publicly confirmed due to medical privacy rules and limited reporting. What is clear from sources, however, is that his mental health is considered a significant concern in his daily care.
Well, I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have parents that care about me, and because of that, when I would go out and do, things like drugs and stuff like that, I'd feel a tremendous amount of guilt because I'd think, oh, they're thinking about me right now. They want me to do good. And most people don't have, not most people, but some people don't have parents that are, have any interest in them.
Deep down, he trusted that we loved him and that we were there for him, and that put a little bit of a break on certain things.
Rehabilitation in jail. A central question in the legal proceedings against Nick is whether he is competent to stand trial. Competency refers to a defendant's ability to understand the charges against them and assist in their own defense. According to national reporting and legal commentary, Nick's mental health challenges may affect this determination. In some cases, defendants with severe pathology are found incompetent and are required to undergo treatment to restore competency before trial can continue. The TMZ Investigates producers quoted legal experts suggesting the case may be a very long process because of this issue, likening competency hearings to a ping-pong back and forth between medical and legal evaluations. In addition to legal evaluations, staff at the jail have reportedly described Nick's mental state as fluctuating, with him being emotionally calm, cognizant, and dazed at different moments, and at times appearing unable to process the consequences of what he has done. Some sources, including testimony from people familiar with the case, have even characterized his behavior in jail as almost childlike, illustrating the degree to which he may struggle with basic understanding of his circumstances. If true, this could significantly impact his defense strategy, possibly leading to arguments that he cannot meaningfully participate in his own trial without restored competency.
Deep down, he trusted that we loved him and that we were there for him, and that put a little bit of a brake on certain things. I mean, it's a desire to survive, you know, and that put a little, and I think that's where we made the mistake, is that we didn't trust that he had that.
But I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have parents that care about me, and because of that, when I would go out and do, you know, things like drugs and stuff like that, I'd feel a tremendous amount of guilt because I'd think, oh, they're thinking about me right now. They want me to do good.
While Nick is not participating in a traditional rehabilitation program in jail, similar to those outside, like structured addiction or long-term therapy programs, he is nonetheless in an environment where medical and mental health services are being provided. In high-observation housing, inmates with acute mental health needs are monitored closely, given psychiatric evaluations, and treated as needed. This isn't rehab in the sense of a voluntary treatment program, but it is a form of ongoing care intended to keep him stable, safe, and medically attended to while the system determines how best to proceed with his case and treatment. Does he know where he is? Understanding awareness. One of the most challenging aspects of the Nick Reiner case is sorting out what he understands about his current situation. Reports from media outlets and documentary sources suggest that while Nick may remember what allegedly happened during the murders, he does not fully grasp the legal consequences or why he is in jail. His delusional belief that his arrest is part of a conspiracy against him indicates a lack of coherent understanding, consistent with symptoms of untreated or poorly managed schizoaffective disorder, especially when medication regimens are unstable. If he truly believes his confinement is the result of a conspiracy, this severely complicates his awareness and comprehension of reality. This lack of understanding is not uncommon in severe mental illness, particularly in cases where medication changes or lapses occur. Psychosis, a hallmark of schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder, can lead individuals to misinterpret events, see patterns that are not real, and lose touch with contextual reality. That Nick knows he allegedly committed the act, but does not understand why he is in custody, suggests a disconnect between memory and comprehension. This nuance is something legal and medical professionals will consider closely as the case moves forward. Will he survive behind bars? The question of whether Nick Reiner will survive imprisonment, meaning not only physical survival but long-term stability, is connected to how his mental health is managed over time. Because he is under psychiatric care, taking medication, and being monitored in jail, he will continue to receive basic medical attention. Whether he stabilizes emotionally, remains coherent enough for trial, or regains a clearer understanding of his situation depends on how well his treatment is adjusted and how his schizoaffective symptoms evolve. It's important to note that serious psychiatric disorders often require long-term or lifelong management, even outside of a criminal justice setting. Schizoaffective disorder and schizophrenia are conditions that are managed with consistent medication, therapy, and support, conditions that are difficult to replicate fully in a jail environment. That said, being under constant medical supervision can help mitigate acute episodes, reduce immediate risks, and keep him safe from self-harm and other dangers common in jail settings for those with mental illness. What happens next legally and medically? As of this writing, Nick has not entered a plea, and his attorney has even withdrawn from the case, citing complexities that include his mental health status. His arraignment has been postponed as legal teams work to determine how to approach his defense. Some legal observers anticipate an insanity plea or questions around competency could shape how prosecutors and defense counsel move forward. The combination of psychiatric history, medication changes, and courtroom strategy means this case is likely to unfold over many months, if not years, as legal and medical professionals determine how best to proceed with his case. Ultimately, Nick Reiner's life behind bars is not just about punishment, but about how the criminal justice system handles someone with serious mental illness in a high-profile case. He is physically safe and medically monitored, but whether he truly understands where he is and why he is there is in serious question. His current treatment situation, monitored medication, psychiatric evaluations, and isolation due to mental health needs, reflects a complex web of medical, legal, and ethical challenges faced by courts and jails across the country.